Ooh, I got the hot mic. There we go. Good evening. I would like to call to order the Keizer City Council in regular session. It is Tuesday, January 17th, 2023, and ask our city recorder to please call roll.
Councilor Reed?
Here.
Councilor Hussman?
Here.
Councilor Kohler?
Here.
Mayor Clark?
Here, we have an echo.
Is everybody?
Go ahead.
Council President Starr?
Here.
Councilor Duran?
Here.
Councilor Cross?
Here.
And Youth Councilor Sarmiento?
Here. All right, we gotta figure out who's got the echo going. Stand by.
Is it with this?
Oh, it's
Where's John?
yeah, we've got an echo.
I think it might be Dennis. Double whammy.
Yeah, we are. Testing 1, 2, 3. How's that? Can people out there, okay, audience
You're good,
can
John.
hear? Is it coming through on the broadcast?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you very much. Okay, now that we have technology working in our favor, would you all please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you all very much. Okay, we have a couple of items under special orders of business, and we're going to begin with a presentation by the NLC Service Line Warranty Program, and this is the Zoom presentation that we're going to see on the screen. And all right, so take it away, and this is Dennis Lyon.
Yes.
All right.
Good
Welcome.
evening. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate you all having me and giving
just
me the
lost some sound.
opportunity. Is there an issue?
Okay. We gotta get the volume turned back on.
Yeah, Dennis, you want to talk as close to your microphone as you can.
It's embedded somewhere in my laptop. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Okay, very good. Sorry about that. As I was saying, thank you very much for having me tonight. I appreciate the opportunity to be able to share some information with you on the National League of City Service Line Program. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and bring that presentation up. It'll just take me a moment. Excuse me. All right, very good. Is everyone seeing that?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
Excellent, excellent, perfect. So again, this is the National League of City Service Line Warranty Program, which is presented by HomeServe, which is the company that I work for. And I'm basically going to go through who we are, what it is that we do, how we do it, why we do it the way we do it, and how we benefit communities. So just a little bit of background on us. We've been offering this program for over 20 years. We have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. We've had the endorsement of the National League of Cities since 2010. And we have been endorsed by and business partners with the League of Oregon Cities since 2017. Apparently the terms change every year, so we don't have the 2023 business partner logo yet. So I hope you'll look past that, but I'm told that it's coming once the terms are finalized. Excuse me. So the reason our program exists, obviously, is infrastructure challenges. There's a lot of information on here. I'm not going to, waste your time by going through all this item by item. But as you can see, as far as infrastructure grades go, we don't get very high marks from the American Society of Civil Engineers on drinking water and wastewater infrastructure. Well, as we all know, everything starts locally, right? Everything comes down to the local level. And one of the challenges with infrastructure is that the lateral lines on the private side are subjected to those same elements as the public lines. So all that ground shifting, fluctuating temperatures, tree root penetration, so on and so forth. That all happens on both sides wherever that line is drawn. However, on the public side, there's typically mechanisms in place to be able to maintain and upgrade via budget, grants, what have you. But homeowners are kind of left behind in that process. And one of the issues with them being left behind in that process is they typically aren't aware that the lines on their property are their responsibility until they have a problem and they call the city. And when they call the city, that's when they get that message or are delivered that news that it's their responsibility. Typically, they're pretty upset about that when they find out that it's something that they're going to have to take care of. So what our program can do is reduce a lot of that wasted time, money, and resources for the city of not having to send somebody out to investigate issues that ultimately are on the homeowner side and so forth. And we can also reduce that frustration for homeowners. And where that frustration mainly comes from is just not having the money set aside to deal with these things and being caught by surprise when they happen. So the way our program incorporates into a community is at absolutely no cost to the city. There are no public funds used, and it's one that we administer completely. So that means we handle all of the marketing, the billing of customers directly who decide they want to participate. When they have claims, they call us, we process those claims, we handle the customer service aspect, and then we even find local contractors to become our network service provider when customers begin having those issues. There is a component of our program that's an optional revenue share for the city. I will point out that that particular component, and I'll be talking a little more in detail about it later, but it ties into homeowner participation. However, there is no minimum participation necessary for our program to be available in the community. Everywhere that our program is currently available, really, we are a free public awareness campaign for the city. We educate residents on what those lateral line responsibilities are and give them an opportunity to voluntarily choose to do something about it. The folks that do choose to participate will get the peace of mind of we're providing them really a one-call solution. So we have a call center that's in Chattanooga, Tennessee. When they have an issue, they call us and we dispatch that local licensed contractor to handle the issue for them. So it really saves them all of the work and frustration that goes into finding contractors and getting quotes and so on. All repairs must be performed to code. So that's one of the reasons we work with local contractors. The other reason, of course, is timeliness of response, because obviously that's a concern as well. I want to point out that contractors that we reach out to undergo a very rigorous vetting process so that they can ensure the quality of service that we expect and that you would expect as well. So we make sure that they are licensed and certified on every level they need to be it state, county, even on the local level. We make sure that they have the necessary equipment to do the work so there aren't any delays in the process and so on. We want minimal homeowner inconvenience in this process that we're providing. We do offer 3 different completely separate opportunities for homeowners. So there's external water line, external sewer line, as well as in-home plumbing. I'm going to go over the water and sewer together because they're really set up the same, even though they're separate programs. And what we provide there is up to $8,500 per each incident for repair or replacement of that lateral line due to anything like broken, cracked, or leaking pipes, tree root penetration, clogs, frozen water lines that need to be thawed out, any of those types of incidences that impede the flow or cause an operational failure in the line. And that's from that point of the utility connection to that home exterior. So it completely closes that gap or that no man's land, if you will, that the homeowner is responsible for, but nobody covers. There's also an in-home plumbing product that we provide, and that is up to $3,000 per incident. This is for all the water, sewer, drain lines that are inside the home after the point of entry. It also includes coverage even for clogged toilets. With all of our coverages, there are no annual or lifetime limits. There are no deductibles that have to be met before coverage begins. When they have an incident and they call us, they're not paying a service fee for us to dispatch that contractor. There are no forms or paperwork that they have to fill out because we work with the contractor directly. And homeowners are able to opt in or out of this service at any time without penalty. Also, there is no pre-inspection of their property. Should they choose to participate after a 30-day waiting period, that coverage begins for them. So it really is a seamless process for them. I mentioned that optional revenue share. The way that would work if you chose to participate, because it is optional, is there is a non-tax revenue of 10% per product per month that would accrue throughout the course of the year. We pay that out every January to our partners that do participate. Typically, what that's used for is low-income utility assistance. Oftentimes, those programs are underfunded, or if they even exist, in some cases, they don't exist at all. So this is funds that can be used towards that. If a city decides that they don't want to participate in that aspect of the program, then the price of each one of the products is reduced by 50 cents per month. So if we're not sharing in that with the city to do some things with the funds, we're not keeping them ourselves, we're passing them along as savings. One of the big goals behind our program is to reduce the number of calls that the city receives from homeowners when they have these issues. And we're very good at that. I wish we could say that we eliminate every call, but there's still some people who are going to call, unfortunately, but we'll dramatically bring that number down. By paying contractors directly, we're infusing money into your local economy. We're also saving money for residents that can be reinvested in other ways. And then again, that timeliness of repairs really reduces the chance of hazards or water loss or what have you. So how we market within a community, there's no telemarket or door-to-door sales activities going on. Everything is done through direct mail. We do a maximum of 3 mail campaigns or 3 outreach efforts per year. And one of the things that's entailed with the partnership is we provide that information to you for your review, input, and approval before it's ever sent to a single homeowner. So you have say in that message, and you have the ultimate authority over whether or not it is even delivered to a single homeowner in your community. That marketing information is going to clearly state to the homeowner that the city is not providing this program, that it's available to homeowners through us via a partnership with the city. And it lets them know that it's completely voluntary for them and that all of the services are completely separate, so they can choose whatever they would like or not participate at all. What we ask for in return is use of the logo, and again, your review of that material before it's ever sent. And there are a few reasons why we do that. Obviously, the review of the material, the idea there is transparency. We want you to see the message that's going out in your community and have a say in that message. We also want to maximize the proactive education of homeowners. So the more people we can educate, even if they don't participate, the less likely they are to call when they have an issue. And then lastly, it creates an economy of scale that allows us to offer the best possible benefits at the lowest rates that we can. A little bit about us. Over 1,100 municipalities and utilities participating. We have a customer base of over 4.7 million. We've completed 1.7 million jobs just in the last 3 years. And in that time have saved those homeowners $638 million of their own money. We maintain a consistent customer satisfaction rating of 98%. Just to give you an idea on the scale of that, our call center alone handles 10,000 calls on average per day. So to maintain a level that high with that volume of just phone calls alone, we feel like we're upholding our promise that we make to communities and our customers. These are the communities that are currently participating in Oregon. Cottage Grove, I will point out, is our first and our longest standing partner in the state of Oregon. I believe they have been with us for about 8 years now. I've been with the company for 6 years, so they were with us before I started. So they've been with us for about 8 years now. And I apologize, just a moment here. lot of distraction going on. I'm sorry. So in that time, we've added a few other partners, as you can see. And I can't remember geographically. I believe Jefferson, if I'm not mistaken, is closest to you geographically. Is that right?
That's, yeah, to the south, Jefferson, to the north, Aurora.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Aurora too. I forgot about where their proximity was. But yeah, so we've and just in the state of Oregon, we paid more than $750,000 in repair costs for those customers over those 3 years. And just kind of a statement that I think kind of encapsulates what it is that we do is we're helping residents when they need it the most before they have some type of unexpected issue by allowing them to choose what they want to do, if anything, to prepare for the potentiality of those issues. So it helps increase the quality of life within the community, not only by helping those residents, but also by taking some burden off of staff and even elected officials by not having to deal with those distress calls that are made from residents when they're having those issues. And with that being said, I know that's kind of a lot of information packed into a pretty short amount of time. Are there any questions or comments that you might have at this time that I can address?
Questions? Councilor Kohler.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you for the presentation. So how does this work for an apartment building or something like that? Do they have the ability to participate in this program?
So that's an excellent question. And the answer to that is our program is completely for the residential customers. So basically owner occupied households. One of the reasons for that is because of the amount of variables that factor into trying to provide commercial services. You get into industrial and so on and so forth, and the pipe sizes and everything else varies, that it would have a negative impact on the residential side of that. Basically, on the residential side, they'd be subsidizing us being able to provide coverage on the commercial side.
So a rental property would not be, this would not be available rental property either.
So for a rental property, for example, a single household, or a landlord owning a single household that they rent out, or a duplex with separate lines for the water and sewer, yes. But like a large commercial building or an apartment building with multiple units, or condominiums with multiple units or things like that, it's not available in that capacity.
And I just had one more, if that's okay.
Follow up?
Thank you. What's the approximate cost per homeowner?
Excuse me, there's two-tiered pricing. So it's basically flat numbers depending on which option the city would prefer. So without the royalty aspect or the revenue aspect coming into play, the water coverage is $5.25 a month. The sewer coverage would be $7.25 a month, and the in-home plumbing would be $9.49 a month. If the city chose to participate in that revenue aspect, each of those prices would increase by 50 cents per month. And the pricing structure is designed so that the folks who are basically most financially vulnerable, should these types of issues occur, be able to participate and have the coverage as well as the service without a major financial sacrifice.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Council President Starr.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just perusing some of the stuff on your website, and how do you do renewal increases?
So there's an and that's a good question. So there's an agreement that we have with every community that we participate with, which spells out those types of things, the indemnification for the city and so on and so forth. So any type of a rate increase, a proposed rate increase, we would have to submit in writing to you 12 months in, or we would have to submit in writing to you, I believe it's 30 days. It may be more than that. I don't get asked this question very often, so I apologize. But it can be no more than 50 cents in any one 12-month period.
Is that 50 cents per month?
Correct. So the product price couldn't change by any more than 50 cents per month in any 12-month period.
Okay, thank you. And I have a follow-up.
Follow up?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. How does the payments work? So is the homeowner or the property owner expected to pay out of pocket and then submit reimbursement? Are you billed directly? And if it's a reimbursement process, what's the speed of the reimbursement to the property owner?
That is a great question, because you just pointed out something that I always mention, except in this case, because I missed it when I was talking about the contractors and the service that we provide. We pay the contractors directly when the work is completed. So that's one of the conveniences of the program, is that we're paying those contractors directly. So homeowners are not having to pay up front and then wait to be reimbursed. So I apologize for that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Great questions. Additional questions? Councilor Husband.
Thanks, Madam Mayor, and thank you, Dennis, for the presentation. Do you mind just clarifying your relationship with the National League of Cities?
So we are, we've had their endorsement since 2010. This was prior to my employment with the company, of course. They put us through a 6-month vetting process because what they have in place are what they call now savings and solutions programs, and there are 9 of us. At that time, they were called enterprise programs, and we were one of 7 enterprise programs that they evaluated and felt that we provide a service that isn't exclusionary and is beneficial to communities and is unique to the marketplace.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you. Additional questions? Mr. Brown.
I just want to add, over the last 20 years, I've probably had a half a dozen residents of the communities I've been in have this happen to them, where there's a gap in what the city is responsible for and the homeowner. And so they're usually appealing to the governing body, saying, hey, there's a huge cost here. There's no way I can afford a $7,000 bill. This is just an insurance program through the National League of Cities to protect folks from that kind of incidents. Really, the only thing they're looking for is the ability to use our logo for branding, and we don't have our hands in it at all. But I know there be a lot of people, there could be a lot of people that would rather pay that $5 a month than the $7 a month for the sanity of not having that $7,000 bill hit them at an unexpected time. And those who don't want to have that insurance don't have to, but this gives them an opportunity.
So I've got a question. I'm going to go to Councilor Kohler. So this does not include sidewalks, does it?
And that's a very good question as well. Yes, so it's restoration, including street and sidewalk repair if necessary. Oftentimes, the sewer line responsibility extends out into the main, and that's where a great deal of expense can be incurred, is in that repair, especially the street repair.
But not just sidewalk by itself. It has to be with a service line repair, correct?
Yes. So if the sidewalk had to be excavated in the course of making that repair, then the replacement of that sidewalk is included in the coverage.
Thank you. Councilor Kohler.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. You said that you vet contractors, and would the city have any approval of the contractors, or would any say-so on who those contractors were? There have been some contractors that have not done a real good job for the city, but yet they might be approved by you.
So that is part of the partnership, and I appreciate you bringing that up. So at the time that we partner with a community, there's about a 6 to 8 week rollout period, and that's the time when we begin recruiting contractors. So at the very front end of that process, one of the questions that we ask of cities is, Do you have a list of contractors that you would like us to reach out to that you know meet all the requirements and provide quality service? Conversely, do you have any contractors that you want us to avoid? Or do you just wish to remain completely out of the process? And we abide by that.
Thank you very much. And Mr. Lawyer, have we had challenges with this type of service needed by homeowners?
We've certainly had the homeowners with the surprise that they are responsible for the repairs for their lateral lines. I don't know that there's been any real major controversy. One of the most recent ones I can think of was a property up in northern Keizer that was actually on a septic system. And the septic system failed. And they needed to hook up to the sanitary sewer, which was a long distance from the home, the way the lot was configured, and very deep. So that was a very expensive repair or new service for them. I'm not sure if that would be covered in this kind of a program or not, but that's the most recent one I can think of.
All right, thank you very much. Any additional questions? Thank you, and then we have in our packet, additional material and also the link to all the program information as well for us.
Excellent, excellent. And my contact information that was displayed on the screen before is also available in the presentation that I provided to Adam. So if anybody wanted to reach out to me directly with any kind of questions, please do so, and I'm happy to get you an answer.
Fantastic. I know this is a council that does their homework, so you might be getting some of those emails as well.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And thank you all for your time this evening. I appreciate it, and have a fantastic rest of your evening.
Thank you. Really appreciate it. And I'm turning the, okay, testing 1, 2. Are we back without the echo? Okay. All right. Thank you, John.
Madam Mayor?
Mr. Brown?
So if, you don't have to make a decision tonight, but if you would like me to prepare this to bring it back for consideration, that's what I'd be looking for direction on now, and then you could decide when it comes back.
By consensus, direct staff to come back with an agenda item for our consideration. Anybody object? I see no objection.
Okay.
So if
Thank
you
you.
would, that would be great. Thank you. All right. That was the first item. Let me go back to my other pile here. There we go. Under special orders of business, and now we get to hear about our Oregon Business Recovery Center. Woo-hoo. And unfortunately, these are not very enthusiastic people, she said facetiously.
It's too bad.
I know. We are delighted to have you here.
Thank you, Tracy. Perfect. Hello, hello. Hello, guys. Nice to see you all again. I see some new faces. Some of you may know me from the Keizer Chamber, some from Expo Negocio. Now you'll hear me from my new organization, Oregon Business Recovery Center. Yay! And I have somebody I would like to introduce to you guys today. If you don't know me, my name is Fatima Falcon, and I'm here with, I'll let you introduce yourself, Kevin.
Mr. Mayor, Councilor, Kevin O'Malley, Wilsonville Chamber of Commerce, CEO. So we are the administrator of the Oregon Business Recovery Center and cousins, chamber cousins of the Keizer Chamber.
They swooped me off my feet because they wanted me to help out more businesses, and I gladly accepted. So here I am now presenting to you guys about one of the new services that we're providing for the communities, is Oregon Business Recovery Center. So what is a recovery center? Well, a business recovery center like the one that I work for now is kind of like the FEMA of the financial world. Business recovery centers pop up after there is a change in the economy or there is a struggle that affects the whole nation. For example, the COVID pandemic, or in 2008, there was a financial crisis. So right now, we're helping out businesses that struggled to stay alive during the pandemic. Businesses that either had some loss of profit or businesses that are actually popping up after the pandemic. We're going to be helping them in a variety of ways. But our whole goal is to help businesses come back stronger or just build up stronger after these horrible events happen. So we do this thanks to your guys' help. We do this through the help of the chambers. Since we're not ourselves an economic entity, we are kind of like, we live off of the chamber's help. And in this case, it is the Wilsonville Chamber that is organizing the funds for the organization. So the Oregon BRC is all funded through ARPA. All of that money that was given out during the pandemic, it's finally making its way into the communities. Thanks to, for example, in our case, Kim Thatcher, she was the one that gave her ARPA district money to her old district. So that's why you're gonna see some of the different geographical barriers that we face, and it's because these are ARPA funds. So going on along that, our services that are provided thanks to this ARPA money, it comes in two different pathways. First, we have a pathway that kind of looks back at what you lost if you're a small business owner, if you were open before January of 2020. This applies to you. This is the small business grants that are going to help you recover some of that lost revenue you had during the pandemic. You may qualify for up to $10,000 worth of a grant for this application that's going to open on January 31st. So this is the first route. We kind of take a look back at what you lost and how we can give you a little bit back of that money in revenue. The other pathway in which the Recovery Center can help you is if you would like to grow and you just don't know where to go from where you are. If you would like some help with payroll, with bookkeeping advice, if you want some more advice on marketing, because we as business owners sometimes want to be jacks of all trades, even though sometimes we may lack that information. Not everybody has all the information within itself. We're not all Wikipedias, so you need some support once in a while. We can provide that by providing you up to 2 hours of a consultation with a professional, and that's the other pathway that we can help you out. It's not necessarily financial, but it's kind of that philosophy of teach a man how to fish, you know? Do you have anything to say about these two? Yeah? So far, we have those two pathways, but the one that I would like to emphasize a little bit more on is on the grants. So let me just real quick talk about one of the ways that you qualify for the grants. You qualify for these $10,000 worth of grants if you are in one of these communities. Like I said, this came through Kim Thatcher's old district, so it encompasses the Keizer and surrounding area, the 97303 zip code, the Dundee, St. Paul, and Newburgh zip code, also Sherwood and Wilsonville. So if you can see, Keizer is just below that red lining. The red lining is the zip code, and the Keizer city limits are actually smaller than that. But if you're small business or you reside on within that red dotted line, that means that we can help you out. That's why we decided to go with zip codes instead of city borders, so that we could potentially help out some more of those business owners that are not necessarily within the city limits, but they may be even farms. As long as they meet some of the other qualifications that we have, we're hoping to be able to spread the goods around to more people than what the city limits include. So the other qualifications that I was just mentioning about for the grants are the following. You have to be a for-profit business. So I know that there's a lot of nonprofits here in Keizer, and we love to support our nonprofits, and we can do that through the other services. We can do that through the consultations, for sure. Unfortunately, not for the $10,000 grants. So as long as you're a for-profit business that is within the zip codes that I just mentioned, not Kim Thatcher's new district after the redistricting, unfortunately, not Woodburn, not Staten, and if the but it can't be the new district. It was based off of the old one, so only those cities that I already mentioned are strictly the places that we can cover. So if you're within those zip code, you're a for-profit business. If you have 50 or less employees, then you definitely qualify for that. And also, most importantly, or I think one of the other key qualifications, if you were open before January 2020, then you definitely qualify. If you are a new business that opened after January of 2020, you don't qualify for the grants, but you do qualify for the other services. So it's always good to ask. It's always good to reach out. Here's the QR code. I'm all into BRC, USB, all of the different acronyms, but here's the QR code for your convenience. Or if you would like, just go to oregonbrc.org. That is our original website. You can go ahead and look at some of the frequently asked questions about the grants through there. But just know that we are more than just the grants, because the grants are gonna open on January 31st, and they're gonna remain open until all the funds are gone. But the other services, the services that are about the consultations and even some more group classes that we're gonna have during the rest of the year, those are still gonna remain open until June of 2024. So the grants opening January 31st, put that in your calendars. Always come back, look at the website, talk to me, ask us if you qualify, because even if you don't qualify for the 10,000, you may qualify for something else that you don't know about. And through this, we're actually learning a lot about the different organizations that help out small businesses. So we may even know of another organization that may be able to help you out. That's not us, but we are looking for more ways to stay connected. So even if you city councilors, if you other members of the city council have any ideas of how we can make relationships that help out small businesses, we're all ears. I just also wanted to talk a little bit about the trainings and the workshops that we're going to have, because we're working together with the other chambers, like the Keizer Chamber, the Chehalem Chamber. We're planning to create more workshops and training sessions so that more people can attend. Nonprofits can attend, new business owners can attend, hopeful business owners will be able to attend these workshops as well. Just look for more information about that on our website. And also on our website, you can sign up for our newsletter if you want to learn more about these training workshops that are going to come up during the rest of the year. But yes, this is my personal information. If you want to call me, please don't call me at 9 p.m. That is my relaxation time. Other than that, you can go ahead and call me, send me an email. También hablo español, si quiere que le dé toda esta información en español, por favor, no duden en llamarme con la información que tenemos aquí en línea. También si quieren enviarlos un correo electrónico, llamarme, por favor, siéntanse en confianza. Our program manager is Jessica Shanae. She's also super nice and friendly. She can go into more details about the application process, but for most questions that you will have, you can come to me. And if it's something that I definitely cannot answer, I will pass you along to either Jessica or to this gentleman over here. But that's all I have for right now. Any questions?
Fantastic. This is very exciting. So I've got one question. I'm going to open it up. So you said that the business grants will be available to you, disperse the funds, and the recovery assistance programs will run through the end of June of 2024. Is there a discussion with Business Oregon about funding in this year's legislature to extend these types of programs? Because once you have them up and running, it would be foolish to have them just dissipate going, oh, that was fun. Now let's go back to our regularly scheduled program. When you've got something that's really successful for long-term benefits for our small businesses in our state.
Oh, yes, that's a really good question, especially because if not, I would be out of a job by June 2024. And while I know there's a bunch of people wanting to snatch me out of the air, I would love to continue seeing this Business Recovery Center continue on, but I'm not quite sure if we have anything solid right now. What do you think, Kevin?
Madam Mayor, thanks. It's a spot-on question because the reality is it takes a lot of effort and staffing to get, whether you're the city or whether you're a business recovery center, and the opportunity to continue to help business as a resource center is what we certainly hope for. The good news is that the pandemic will be another year and a half in our rearview mirror. The bad news is that the hiring situation and the labor shortages are not forecast to change much, and the workforce challenges that are faced in all of our communities are intense and are not going to change unless we begin to address it. So our hope is that between Business Oregon, and candidly, we've shared that with counties as well, once the ARPA funds are fully utilized, the opportunity to continue to do good work. And candidly, we're also going out to business and say, okay, for those businesses, what do you want to support, continue to grow our economy? Because it's basically about economic prosperity for our communities. That's really what we do.
So if you are looking at a legislative ask or at a partnership through Business Oregon, that would be something that I know we would be interested in knowing about, especially if you equip us with information about how we can make that ask with our legislative delegation. The other is, are you partnered with or working alongside SEDCOR, the Strategic Economic Development Corporation, acronym?
Very familiar with SEDCOR. We are not at present, partly because this is really, when you look at what was necessary to get the ARPA funding, Senator Thatcher made the allocation. It takes quite a lot for the machinery to finally get here, and now we're up. So certainly we're now going live, and we expect that the grant funding will get extinguished relatively quickly, even though it's significant, and our resources will continue to be on one-to-one. But there's a tremendous need, and the need for small business owners was highlighted during the pandemic, but it certainly, recovery isn't in sight until we begin to address some of the fundamental labor issues. So we would love to continue a dialogue, and we appreciate the foresight of the council and even bringing it up, because Business Oregon, as a resource, we are working with them to make sure that their separate applications are at least available and that small business owners know about it, because building awareness is often step one. So that's why Fatima is asking for, get on the newsletter at least so you'll get updated, because it's not just about the Oregon Business Recovery Center. It's truly about us being a resource and bringing all types of resources together. And we anticipate that there's going to be some other creative ways that counties and cities look to say, hey, how can we support small business and continue to grow that economic prosperity? So we'd love to have ongoing dialogue.
Thank you very much. Questions? Council? Council President Starr.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just a clarification question. You mentioned that the businesses have to be open before January of 2020. What if there's a business ownership change after January 2020, but the business was open?
That's a really good question as well. We've run into some cases like those. The short answer is, I'm not sure. The long answer is, let me talk to Jessica, because it depends on the registry. If it's the same registry number, there is a good chance that, and it's the same business name, same registry number, perhaps, but.
So it is a federal program. We have federal guidelines that are pretty extensive. And job one is there was a COVID loss. So the expectation is, how does that loss actually transfer to the new owner? If that's the case, then without some further consultation with our own council, that could happen. But in most cases, a lot of small businesses are going to be an asset-only purchase, and so the losses would not have continued through. So that's for the grant monies, that's 2020, because it's the look back. That's the federal guideline. Going forward, the actual business recovery centers can be a business that opened a year ago. So that deadline, so that business that changed may in fact need marketing help or HR help, or water heater goes out in a restaurant here in town that we worked with. Those things can we continue to have conversations about.
Councilor Husband.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. For Kevin, website indicates that Wilsonville Chamber of Commerce is administering the program. What's the nature of that administration right now, and is there an intention of spinning this off at some point into its own independent entity?
Very good question. So there had to be an organization that DAS could contract with. So when Senator Thatcher, when all the senators and representatives through House Bill 5006 were told you have your allocation, you have 4 agencies, you have 4 entities is the word I'm looking for, that you can actually line up for that ARPA money. Senator Thatcher said, she wants to give it to small business. So we put the coalition together, and there had to be one organization in order to do that. So we stepped forward to assume that responsibility and work, and we work in a collaborative way with all those 4. The entity is set up looking forward to the question that Madam Mayor asked, which is, will there be additional funding, and how do we continue to do that? Our board would like to see that happen. All the chambers have already said they'd like to see it happen. But it is a doing business as, because we had to be an established entity for DAST in order to contract with us. So there has been no decisions made as to what happens, but it was set up so that there was flexibility that should something happen, we could respond to the communities, accordingly. And frankly, the name brings up the question, which is, we didn't come up with any name that everybody could figure out how do we define these 4 cities? So we established the Oregon Business Recovery Center because we knew it was going to be a business recovery center. So that's kind of where we are right now. In our case, we had run in Wilsonville a business recovery center through CARES Act for Clackamas County. So that was how we came to Senator Thatcher with the background, having run one previously.
Okay. Who is on your board?
So our chamber board is on our Wilsonville Chamber website, and it's all members are listed there.
The chamber board, gotcha. No,
Yeah.
there are no individuals that aren't on the chamber board that are on the.
Yeah. So Oregon BRC is a DBA of the actual chamber, so there is not a separate entity.
Okay, thank you for the
Correct.
clarification. Nothing further, Madam Mayor.
All right, thank you very much. Any further questions? So I've seen your information on Facebook and other social media, which is fabulous. And I know our Keizer Chamber has been really getting the word out as well, both electronically and also through all of the meetings and gatherings that we have. So really appreciate the outreach to reach as many people as possible in multiple languages and multiple situations. So we wish you the very, very best. And please keep us apprised as it begins to evolve, as you rack up your successes, what are the pieces that will look like for projecting forward for sustained support for our business community.
Love to be back and share success stories. Thanks for the courtesy and the support.
Thank you for the likes.
All right, you bet, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
All right, that concludes our special orders of business this evening. We will now go to committee reports, and we have, first up, we have a Parks Board report from Lisa Sujeka.
I don't quite have the enthusiasm as Fatima, but I'm working on it. Hi, I'm Lisa Sajeka, here to talk about the Parks Board. We met last Tuesday. It was a really quick meeting, and basically we elected new officers. Tanya was reelected as the Parks Chair. I was elected as the Vice Chair.
Congrats.
Thank you. I'm super happy about that. And then we divvied up the parks because every year we divide which parks the members are going to go visit monthly, and every 2 months we give a report on our parks. There was friendly competition. We didn't arm wrestle. We kept it, but the parks are amazing. It's just, there are no bad parks here in Keizer, so we all are happy with our choices. We get to pick one, and then we draw one out of a hat, and everybody was happy. Business of the parks, we still have a lot of vandalism problems. a few trash problems, but for every person who visits our parks who leaves trash, there are probably 3 park goers that pick up the trash and put it away. The city staff are amazing to work with. I can send them an email in the wee hours of the morning, and I get a reply within a few hours because of problems. And I'm not the only one who emails Robert, poor guy, but he's always really good to work with. I just feel very fortunate to be here and work with them. And there's not enough, there's not enough time for me to talk about how wonderful everybody is here. So, anyway, are there any questions?
Thank you very much. I have one question that's on the grant program. So we still have funds in both the main grant program and the youth grant program. Is that correct?
That is, we haven't had any applications that I'm aware of recently. So if we can get the word out and get people, because don't they end in June? We have to use them by June?
Right, and then we just start a new.
And we start
fiscal
anew.
year. Yeah.
Yes, but it would be nice to get some applications in February or March so that we can look at them and make awards.
Absolutely. So we'll refresh on our website, and on our social media outreach to make sure that continues to be front and center as people are starting to think spring. I don't know about all y'all, but as soon as I put my holiday decorations away, I was looking at seed catalogs and stuff like that. So there's a lot of people starting to think spring even when it's stormy outside.
Well, and the parks people are using them in the ice storm. People are using them in the pouring rain. There are always people in the parks, even Palmacia. Our newest, our little gem now, there's always somebody there. The other thing that I probably should have mentioned is we're still looking for a youth liaison. We don't have a youth member of the Parks Board, and that would be fantastic if we could get that. So.
Okay. And Youth Counselor Sarmiento, you're on it, right?
Yes.
All right. The other question I had was to inspire people with grant ideas. If we have some smaller projects that could be, that we already have on our improvements list, I'm looking at Mr. Lawyer, that we could put out as suggestions or inspiration for people if they want to take on a project that we know we want to do, but it would be easy. It would be a nice way to incentivize people or say, if you will take this project on, it's one we want to do, and we can help with the funding for that. That might be a way to inspire people with, because they may not know, what does that park need? Or is that already in the plan? Or is it really expensive? Or, so maybe some inspiration.
It's a great idea.
So I see Mr. Lawyer's making notes. Thank you. And our Parks Liaison is Counselor Kohler, but I believe you had a sub at this last one, where you, and that was? So Counselor Duran, anything to add?
Not really, other than I was, the first time I'd been to the Parks Board, so it was kind of interesting to see what they were doing and getting to meet the people that were there. So it was quick, but they got through their selections pretty quick, and that was kind of fun to watch.
That's a neat way to do it. Pick one and then draw one out of the hat.
Well, and then we can change every year. So we don't, we're not always doing the same parks. There's just such a good variety here. I mean, there's a park for everybody here in Keizer.
I love it that we have 19 parks, and that's a great trivia question, because I think there's a lot of long-term Keizerites that don't know that. And on top of that, we have community gardens that are also starting to look at, okay, how we're going to get ready for the spring. I'm looking at Peggy Moore sitting in the back from our Jerry and Peggy Moore garden over here on Rickman. So great way to partner as well. All right, well, thank you so much. And Enjoy and keep posting those beautiful sunrise and sunset pictures.
I just,
Yes.
sorry to interrupt.
Yes.
I just had a quick question. So for your youth liaison, if they are interested, would you like them to contact you directly or?
There is a form on the website so that they can apply and they go through the volunteer coordinating committee and then are selected.
Okay, I'll share with them the link then.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Perfect. All right.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have 2 appointments to the Community Diversity Engagement Committee. Counselor Kohler, I believe your position is one that you'll be making the next appointment.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to thank Casey McAllister for his service on the committee. He's needed to resign from that, and I'd like to appoint Amy Bauer to be on that committee.
All right, thank you very much. And the other position that's selecting is that Counselor Husband?
It is mine for diversity, yes.
Yes.
And I will be appointing Latanya Gibbs to the diversity committee, so I'll follow up on that.
All right, thank you. All right, thank you both very much. And I don't have anybody else signed up for committee reports. Is there anyone else here who came to give a committee report that didn't sign in? All right, let's go to public comment. This time is provided for citizens to address the council on any matters other than those on the agenda scheduled for public hearing. We have 2 public hearings scheduled for this evening. The first is an exemption from the brand name specification purchase of Surface America Fall Protection product from competitive bidding. The second one is resolution exemption of contract for compensation analyses from the competitive bidding and awarding contract to the Lane Council of Governments. So if you're here for one of those 2, stand by. Before we go into the, and I have 1 signed up so far, I want to acknowledge for the record a letter from Dana Petrie Miller, resident of Keizer, topic, get methane gas out of our buildings. So want to acknowledge that one for the record. And I will go then to Corey Filardo, the amazing Keizer Chamber Executive Director.
Madam Mayor and city councilors and staff, thanks for having me tonight. Corey Filardo, Executive Director at the Keizer Chamber. I also live in Keizer over on Rivercrest. I'm just here to give a little holiday flashback and update for the chamber for the first quarter, I suppose, because let's face it, I'm not that awesome and don't have my life completely put together for the entire year so far. But I just wanted to share with the holiday giving baskets, we did serve 263 families here in Keizer and North Salem, including the Wainema Place Teen Parent Program and Early College Program in the Barbara Roberts School. And that is about 1,000 kiddos, maybe a few more, and each child got a toy or gift and clothing, which was a huge blessing for everybody that we were able to encounter and come in contact with. And they got a food box, and that also included ham, potatoes, and onions, and all the fixins for lots of yummy meals for the holiday break. And we had some really grateful families reach out to us and just share their thanks, and have also been able to stay in contact with a few and provide some ongoing resources for them. So just so everybody's aware, this program works and keeps families connected in Keizer. So thank you for all the support that you guys give, volunteering, those of you who show up to wrap and deliver and all the things. So thank you so much. We had some spectacular Christmas events with the tree lighting and the parade. A goal of mine for next year is to have folks who be in the parade say how many lights they have on their float, so we can maybe have like a little tally going on for the next couple years. So maybe we can say like the best parade west of the Mississippi with 6 million lights or something like that. I don't know. It's just a fun goal I have. And then, of course, coming up this weekend, we have our Keizer's First Citizen Banquet. So just wanted to share, there's tickets still available. If you don't have yours purchased yet, you can jump on our website and buy a ticket. They're $60 per ticket, or if you're interested in purchasing a table, you can call us and we'll help you with that. It's keizerchamber.com, and the phone number is listed on the website. And like Fatima and Kevin were sharing, the Keizer Chamber is powering forward with business recovery and education for business owners and managers and employees and employers all going forward. We are really powering forward and offering folks ways to stay connected, to find mentors, to learn new skills, and just get on top of their game so they can be prepared and stay prepared. So I'm partnering with some programs here in Salem Keizer so that we can offer some business recovery classes and business education courses for members and non-members through the chamber. And those will be starting in February and going throughout the year. And those will be on Tuesdays and Thursdays, most likely. Dates and times will be determined as we get agreements from the folks that are teaching the classes. But just stay tuned for those on our website for topics and the teachers of those classes. But we just find that it's best that we bring that to you so that you're not falling behind as a business owner. And then anytime anybody would like to come and visit us at the chamber, I'd love to meet with business owners, have coffee or lunch with you, and just know that we're there for you to support and get you connected in our community. So that's what I have to say. Any questions?
Questions? Aside from when do you sleep?
Tonight at 9 o'clock, I will be going to bed.
All right, well, thank you so much. Really appreciate the effort. Looking forward to the First Citizen Banquet and Celebration, including, I think, year 2 of the Dennis Coho Future First Citizen Award.
That's right. I should say something about that real quick. I have no time left. But if for anything that you'll come for this weekend, please come and support those kids who applied for this award. They're our future, obviously, future First Citizen. We have really great candidates this year. 5 of the top seniors at McNary will be showing up to find out who the future First Citizen of 2023 is. But these kids are phenomenal. Councilor Reed, you have a hand in that, so thank you so much. But just come out and support these kiddos, and all the recipients this year are really awesome. But yeah, the kids are where it's at.
Looking forward to that and really appreciate that program. Again, like our youth grant program for the parks, we're really looking at making sure that we reach across generations to build those connections and the strong handoff. All right, anything else? Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Night, night. All right, that's all I had signed up for public comment. Is there anyone else here who would like to address the city council? Okay, then we will go to our public hearings. Our first public hearing this evening is a resolution exemption from the brand name specification purchase of Surface America Fall Protection product from competitive bidding and purchasing play structure materials, Surface America Fall Protection materials, and installation services from Ross Recreational Equipment Company Incorporated for the Ben Miller Family Park. The public hearing is now open. And this goes to, who's up? Because I don't have that page in front of me.
It's Madam Mayor and Council, it's Mr. Lawyer.
Mr. Lawyer, the floor is
Adam.
yours, sir.
Madam Mayor and Council, this matter is before the council tonight for public hearing pursuant, well, that's loud, to City Ordinance 2005-519, which is our purchasing ordinance. Staff is recommending that Surface America brand name specification materials landscape structures, play booster, play structure materials, and installation services from Ross Recreation for the play structure at Ben Miller Family Park. These are the same vendors that were used for Clagger Creek Park and Meadows for those play structure replacements. The project involves a replacement of the existing play structure, the placement of rubberized fall protection surfacing, and ADA compliant access to the playground. We are also, as part of the project, but not part of this contract, looking at improving some parking where we can. Parking's a challenge on that park, but we're gonna do what we can to help provide at least a couple spots for cars to park to get to the play structure. From there, that's really the highlights. The title of the motion kind of encapsulates the project. Staff's recommending the council open the public hearing, take testimony, close the public hearing, and if there are no objections, adopt the attached resolution, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you very much. So is this part of a systematic upgrade of our playgrounds to these fall protection surfaces?
Yes, it is. In both the surfacing and the play structure itself. This play structure that's being replaced was targeted more toward the younger kids, the 5 to 12-year-olds. It had some older, 5 to 9-year-olds, I should say, and then 9 to 12. What we're proposing to replace it with is kind of focused more on toward the older kids, the 9 to 12, primarily because of the middle school right down the street. And what we've seen, the activity in the park and how the older children like to play hard on the younger children amenities. And so we're just kind of modifying, kind of flipping it a little bit. There's still stuff for the younger kids, but just not as much. And it is part of our priority plan that we established when the parks fee was implemented. This is on our plan to replace that play structure and add the fall surfacing.
All right, fantastic. Thank you so much. Any additional questions? Okay, I do not have anybody signed up under public testimony. Is there anyone who would like to address the council on this matter this evening? Going once, going twice. All right. Council, any further information that you would like to have before I close the public hearing? All right, the public hearing is now closed. Council President Starr.
I move the City Council adopt Resolution R 2023, exemption of the brand name specification purchase of Surface America fall protection product from competitive bidding and purchasing, play structure materials, Surface America fall protection materials, and installation services from Ross Recreation Equipment Company, Inc. for Ben Miller Family Park.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the Keizer City Council adopt Resolution R 2023, exemption of the brand name specification purchase of Surface America fall protection product from competitive bidding and purchasing play structure materials, Surface America fall protection materials, and installation services from Ross Recreation Equipment Company, Inc. for Ben Miller Family Park. Any discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, signify by saying no. Hearing no objection, motion passes unanimously. Fantastic. All right, we will now go to our second public hearing for this evening. That is a resolution exemption of contract for compensation analyses from competitive bidding and awarding contract to Lane Council of Governments. Public hearing is now open. And this one goes to, gotta get back to page
Madam
one.
Mayor and Council, this is Ms. DePina.
Okay, Ms. DePina.
Madam Mayor and council members, as you know, the city has begun bargaining with the Keizer Police Association. Given a number of priority items in progress and on hold in the Human Resources Department due to workload and importance of the compensation information at the beginning of the bargaining process, we'd like to utilize a trusted third party to perform compensation analyses of 4 related classifications. The background is that in the past, the City Council's preference has been that the Human Resources Director complete compensation analysis for all city classifications. And I've agreed to do so as long as we use a third party to review my work and make final recommendations to city leadership. We've used Local Government Personnel Services, LGPS, which is housed at the Lane Council of Governments for the third-party review of our non-represented class compensation analysis for approximately the past 10 years. When we determined we'd need to get additional assistance to complete comp analysis in time for bargaining, I extended an invitation to bid to 3 known compensation specialists to complete that analysis on the most time-sensitive portion of the project, which is the police officer classification. The lowest bidder at $3,087 was assigned to complete that work, and that was LGPS. Upon confirming they had the capacity and experience, we also wanted to look at them for completing the remaining 4 represented classifications. And in consultation with the legal department, it was determined an exemption to the contract process would be the appropriate course of action. LGPI has confirmed they can begin the analysis on the 4 additional classes immediately upon your approval. They'll be able to complete the work within the next 6 weeks. This will provide the opportunity for me to continue working on other critical citywide projects without further delay. No impact on strategic. Financial cost is $6,174. It will be paid for with existing appropriations in the general fund. The timing is immediate need. The ordinance number 2005-519 for the exemption process. So staff recommends the City Council open the public hearing, take testimony. If no questions, close. And if there are no valid objections, adopt the attached resolution exempting the contract for competitive bidding and awarding the contract to Lane Council of Governments. You do have the option to take no action. Without action, we will not go forward with LGPI, and there are no other city employees qualified to perform this work, so I would put other projects on hold and prioritize this work instead. This is possible, but would further delay other critical projects.
All right, thank you very much. Any questions on the staff report? Okay. Sorry, Councilor Husband.
Mr. Pina, is this a prior relationship that the city has had with Lane Council of Governments? Are they a contractor of previous use?
The LGPS entity, which is now housed at Lane Council of Governments, is who we've worked with for the last 10 years on a number of similar items. Again, their work with us was to review my work and confirm that it was accurate and provide recommendations. This is a bit different in that we're asking them to actually do the work. Of course, I am still working just as closely with them and providing them all the baseline information.
Thank you so much for the clarification. Nothing further, Madam Mayor.
All right, thank you very much. Any other questions on the staff report or proposal? Okay, seeing none, I do not have anybody signed up to testify under this public hearing. Is there anyone here who would like to address the council on this matter this evening? Nobody is running for the microphone. All right. Council, any additional information that you need on this matter before we close the public hearing? Okay. Public hearing is now closed. Council President Starr.
I move the City Council adopt Resolution R 2023, exemption of contract for compensation analysis from competitive bidding and awarding contract to Lane Council of Governments.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the Keizer City Council adopt Resolution R 2023, exemption of contract for compensation analyses from competitive bidding and awarding contract to Lane Council of Governments. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed signify by saying no. Hearing no objection, motion passes unanimously. Yes, we only have one Michelle, and if and cloning is still not an option. So fantastic. All right, that takes us then to item 8A, which is under administrative action. Ordinance delegating authority to Public Works Director to establish design standards and construction specifications, repeal of ordinance number 93-248 and ordinance number 2007-554. This is one of the few that actually predates me, and that's saying something. Mr. Johnson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and Council. A few months ago, Bill and the environmental folks were mentioning that we're going to do some storm drain updates in the standards, and we looked at how they were adopted generally, all the design standards, not just there, and discovered that council back in '93 had delegated that authority to the Public Works Director for design standards and construction specifications. But then in 2007, the council actually adopted a whole set of design standards, but there was no mention of the '93 resolution, which was not repealed at that time. So there's a little bit of inconsistency. These are pretty technical matters, and after discussing it internally, felt that it was appropriate to stick with the original idea, and that would be to have the Public Works Director adopt these with a clear delegation. Since we have that inconsistency, the staff proposal was to repeal both ordinances rather than try to hold on to the old '93 one and adopt something with a little more clarity, which is the ordinance that we have there that talks about a process and attempting to give notice to interested parties and that sort of thing. It is a pretty technical and actually lengthy. It was going to bring the old design standards. For those of you old enough to remember what phone books look like, it was about 1.5 to 2 Salem phone books from the old Salem phone book days. So I wasn't thinking the council really wanted to go through something like that. So the recommendation is to adopt the attached ordinance, which repeals both the old ordinances and adopts the new ordinance that you have in front of you. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you very much, and thank you for not putting a phone book into our council packets. Much appreciated. I think we saved a few for us. Any questions on the proposal or staff report? Okay. Council President Starr, put a motion on the table.
I move the City Council adopt ordinance number 2023, delegating authority to Public Works Director to establish design standards and construction specifications, and repeal of ordinance number 93-248 and ordinance number 2007-554.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that the Keizer City Council adopt ordinance number 2023, delegating authority to Public Works Director to establish design standards and construction specifications, repeal of ordinance number 93-248 and ordinance number 2007-554. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Hearing no objection, motion passes unanimously. That concludes administrative action for this evening. Council President Starr, would you please read the items on tonight's consent calendar?
I move the City Council adopt the consent calendar. Item A, approval of December 12, 2022 work session minutes, approval of December 19, 2022 regular session minutes, and item C, approval of January 3rd, 2023 regular session minutes.
Thank you very much. Are there any polls? Okay, Council President Starr, no polls.
Okay.
To move,
I did.
okay. Okay, the consent calendar, so I need a second then to adopt
Second.
the consent calendar has been moved and seconded. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, signify by saying no. Hearing no objection, motion passes unanimously. This moves us then to other business. This time is provided to allow the mayor, city council members, or staff an opportunity to bring new or old matters before the council that are not on tonight's agenda. Councilors, any other business for this evening? Seeing none, Mr. Brown, did the city staff have any other business to bring before us this evening?
Our staff work hard, they're amazing, and but nothing exciting to bring before you today.
You got it all on the agenda. Fantastic. Okay, that takes us then to staff updates, and I'll just start at the end with Ms. DePina.
Madam Mayor and Council, I would like to remind everybody that we do have one recruitment that is still open until Thursday at 5 p.m., and that is for police officer entry and lateral. So if you know anybody out there who's interested or might be great, encourage them to get online and apply right away.
Thank you very much. Mr. Brown? Mr. Wood?
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Except save water.
Conserve water. A lot of it.
I took your tagline. Ms. Davis?
Thank you, I have nothing tonight.
All right, Chief?
Nothing, Madam Mayor.
Mr. Lawyer?
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Mr. Witham?
Nothing this evening, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Johnson?
No, nothing tonight. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
All right, thank you very much. Let's go to council member reports, and I'll start with Councilor Duran. I'm sorry, Councilor, I'm so used to being at the end. How about we start with Councilor Cross?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. It's been a fun couple of weeks. I've gotten to go to Salem Chamber Monthly Forum Luncheon, SEDCOR Luncheon, learning about what's coming up at the legislative sessions. I'm looking forward to Keizer for Citizen this weekend, Government Affairs Committee tomorrow, the no self-defense class on Thursday that I believe the City of Keizer Police is helping with. And next week will be a fun packed week with the League of Oregon Cities Essential Elected Trainings and the Day at the Capitol. And that's it. There's the last 2 weeks.
And we're gonna be rocking and rolling. Thank you very much. Now, Councilor Duran.
Mine was pretty eventful for the short week. Went to the Southeast Keizer Neighborhood Association, and that was there isn't a whole lot of people that show up to those meetings, and I would really like to come up with a way that we can get more people there. There's a couple other neighborhood associations that have the same issue. So I don't know if anybody's got any ideas, but it would sure be beneficial for, the whole city to be involved at some level, and that would be a good place to start. I then did the Parks Advisory Board for Councilor Kohler, and like I said, that was an interesting, new board for me to be a part of, so that was great. And then I went to the West Keizer Neighborhood Association, and that was the first time I'd been to that one. I had never been on that one, but I knew that they had, just from being here, I knew that they had a lot of people involved. So that was nice to see them. We had a preparedness demonstration by our favorite deputy fire marshal. And so that was awesome to be involved with that and see the people that are there really engaged in their community. So that was what I had. Planning Commission was canceled last week, so that was why I got to the benefit of being at the Parks Advisory Board, I think. I think somebody felt I didn't have enough to do last week. So, thank you.
Council President Starr.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I too was light with the holiday, but attended the Greater Gupster Neighborhood Association meeting and the Community Diversity Engagement Committee meeting, as well as attended my first library board meeting, and look forward to hearing an update from them on the 2022 year.
All right. Thank you very much. Councilor Kohler.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I got to attend the Siebel meeting on January 5th, which was pretty exciting. It was really neat. They did a recap on presentation by Clifton Talbert, which on racial justice, which to me was just a fantastic meeting. The first one that he did, and then the recap. I think both those things were very informative and very educational. And then I went to Chamber Greeters this morning, which they said nice things about Councilor Cross. I appreciate that. And then just a special thank you for the counselors who filled in for my assignments this last week when I was working out of town. Keizer United, the Parks Board, the LBA, and the Southeast Keizer Neighborhood Association. I appreciate them taking care of those little things for me. And this next week, of course, we have the Keizer First Citizens on Saturday. Tomorrow I have the Northwest Keizer Neighborhood Association. And I think we're having some kind of meeting with the commissioners on Thursday. I'm not really sure, but I think so. But
I think that one's on again.
yeah, it's been on again, off again, so we'll see how all that works. But But I especially appreciate those that filled in for me last week.
It's all about the teamwork. Counselor Hussman.
Northwest Keizer tomorrow. TSPB. I think I got it right. Nope, TSBP. Got the
Traffic Safety
acronym
Bike
wrong.
Ped.
Traffic Safety Bike Ped. It's Thursday.
Yep.
I'm excited. Everybody interested, welcome to attend Thursday at 6. Council chambers, okay? Mr. Lawyer is going to get very sick of me after a few months. Once I roll through those meetings, it'll be very fun.
Lots of great questions, and we've got a lot of great projects that are on tap. So happy to share them with our community. All right, thank you very much. Councilor Reed.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. If it's all right, I'm going to defer to Youth Councilor Sarmiento first, and then I will go after.
By all means.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Today, there was a wrestling match versus Sprague at 6 p.m. On Thursday, we have quite a few sport meets. We have girls basketball from 5 to 6:30. It ranges from junior varsity to varsity basketball. And then also for basketball for boys from 5 to 6:30 at West Salem. We have a swim meet at the Kroc Center versus Sprague at 2 p.m. if anyone is interested at attending. And then we have Mary Poppins Musical from January 25th through the 28th and February 1st through February 4th. And you can buy tickets at mcnairy-theater.ticketleap.com. Thank you.
Fantastic.
Okay, thank you. In addition, we have finals coming up, before you know it, in McNairy. And so students are starting to care, and that's always a good thing. So parents might be on the other end of that, doing a little bit pushing and prodding. And the elementary schools and middle schools are on a little bit different schedule. But just kind of being aware that, of the various calendars. We do have conferences at all levels coming up on February, I want to say 3rd is that Friday. So just being aware of that opportunity. Just want to make everybody aware of that. And on top of that, we've had regularly scheduled meetings. In addition, the Community Diversity Engagement Group is going to be involved with our 40th birthday celebration. And we are, Councilor Kohler and I are still in the early stages, needing to move that on to the getting serious about planning the stages. And so we are going to be doing that. And we have a lot of enthusiastic supporters in the Community Diversity Engagement Group, in addition to community supporters. So we will be calling on a lot of people for help and support in that. And in addition, we are we are still welcoming any ideas that we can get for that. So that is basically all I have.
Fantastic. Yeah, so if people want to get a hold of either Councilor Reed or Councilor Kohler about the Keizer 40th, the emails are on the website, and also when you start sending ideas, you might end up helping plan them too. Mm-hmm. That's how it works in Keizer.
Thanks for your volunteerism.
That's right, and when you show up, you end up on the committee. Anyway, a lot of great things have been mentioned this evening. Just want to add a couple of additional things. The work of the Mid-Willamette Valley Council of Governments Legislative Committee is continuing as the legislative session gets underway, scheduling meetings with our legislative delegation with a full third of the House that is all brand new people, with some number of people that have gone over to the Senate, and also working around all the changes in the building. So really have to pay attention to how meetings are being scheduled. That said, we're also looking at a tremendous number of bills that got dropped. So we're going to be, our legislative committee, the lobbyists for the Council of Governments, and all of our partners are sorting through them to see how they're going to sift out in this first portion of the long session. So stay tuned on that. There's going to be opportunities for us to get involved with testimony and supporting bills that will help us with projects, infrastructure. I'm looking at expanding services for behavioral and mental health, housing and homelessness services, and so forth. There's some great legislative concepts that are out there, and I imagine at some point we will be leaning in on the ones that make it through that first hurdle of the first sort for the committee work at the legislature. So stay tuned on that. I did join with a number of our Homeless Alliance members on a conference call with the governor's transition team, specific around housing and homelessness. And it was a very, very constructive conversation. The team was, these are people who are already well-versed in this work and paying very close attention to what we, as our two county alliance, had to say about our data, experience, and the needs we have for sustained, effective services for people in our community. Speaking of housing and homelessness, you probably can't open any social media right now without hearing about the PIT count, the point in time count. So I'm going to do it again because we want to make sure that people realize it is happening the last week of January. And we have 3 days on which it will be occurring. We still need volunteers in the Salem area. There are specific areas. It is such a large space, and they're trying to spread it out over time. So we need volunteers willing to sign up to be sent out with experienced people to do the PIT count and not only get data for us regarding who is homeless and experiencing being unsheltered in our community, but also it's another step in the long range work of building relationship where people will take the step to receive services and have moved toward positive outcomes. We've got good data that show that the work we're doing here in this region has been successful for helping change people's lives in a positive direction. Let's keep that work going, and super proud to be part of a community where that's a priority. On the 11th, I did attend the Salem Keizer School District training on equity or equality, moving toward a model of community responsive education. This is by Dr. Jeff Duncan Andrade, and it was fantastic. Great stories, information, just really framing the work around equity, around the community responsiveness, the community specificity for our schools, educators, and really looking at our students as the individuals that they are, embraced in community. So it was really fantastic work. There was a bunch of books. I'm going to be sending the list to our Human Resources Department, which has a lending library, and maybe make some suggestions on some amazing additions. So I was really pleased to join Salem Mayor Chris Hoy at that. We were invited to be included with the administrators from the Salem Keizer School District, and they came here to our Civic Center and loved the experience. And once again, our community center staff really made it work well for that group. Today, I had the opportunity to join with some leadership across our area at a town hall with Senator Ron Wyden and Congresswoman Andrea Salinas. And then early this afternoon, Congresswoman Salinas came here to City Hall and met with myself and our city manager, talking about work that the Congresswoman is going to be undertaking in her freshman term in the Congress, and also how congressional work can help benefit cities, some of the barriers that we have for being able to get done what we need done, but also opportunities for Congress to respond to the needs of cities in our area. With her experience in the legislature, she gets it, what some of our barriers are, especially for Oregon cities, and then be able to bump that up to the national level. So it was a very good conversation, and I'm quite optimistic that we will continue in that partnership with Congresswoman as she embarks on this next adventure in her life, serving in our Congress. Coming up, you've heard about a number of the events coming up, like the community dinner and the First Citizen Banquet and so forth. Also coming up will be a lunch and learn by our environmental division. So that's going to be on Zoom tomorrow. All you have to do is get the link, go to our website, and that's going to be really cool to learn about our local environment. I'm looking forward to tuning in for that. This coming Saturday will be the January edition of Coffee with Kathy. And we'll be our regular contributors from the Keizer Fire District, the Cherries Board of Directors, and we are now welcoming as a regular contributor, Bob Salazar, who is our zone rep for the Salem Keizer School Board. And we'll be talking, among other things, what's happening in our community, but also talking more about the point-in-time count and ongoing services for people in our community. Looking forward to that very much. Councilor Cross mentioned the League of Oregon Cities Day at the legislature will be on the 25th, and then elected essentials, and I'll be doing the part of the team doing the mayor's training here on the 26th. The SEDCOR Ag Breakfast will be on the 31st, and that will be in lieu of our board meeting. They said, well, we could have a breakfast, a board meeting, another breakfast, or how about we go to the breakfast and talk about board stuff at the same time, and we thought that was a smart idea. So there you go. Lots of stuff happening. Things are open and moving forward. People are meeting in person, which is fabulous, and we're all working together to get stuff done. That's all I got, which is, looking at all of you, we're doing a lot, but that means our community is doing a lot. All right, let's look at agenda input. On February 6th will be our next regular session at 7 p.m. On February 13th, we have canceled that work session in lieu of the one on the 27th. And then our second regular session in February will be on Tuesday, February 21st, also starting at 7 p.m. And that is all I have for agenda input. Is there anything else for the good of the order? Hearing none, the time is 8:41 and we are adjourned. Thank you all.